must be 2020 and the end of the year. I've already agreed with the Mary Sue, and now I have to compliment you. Hello everyone, I am Mecca Random, 42, the one and only the original, your favorite YouTube consumer advocate party from the undisclosed location. Here to talk a little bit about the Star Trek Discovery episode. I can't remember what it's called, but I'm going to try my best to... this is supposed to be the conclusion to last week's, but no, they're just dragging them all into a continual story that just bleeds one thing into the other thing into the other thing, and this is just a little in the middle filler thing until the next one, and hopefully it'll end soon. But don't worry, we have Cobra Kai soon, and I'm very much looking forward to reviewing something that I know I at least liked 2 seasons of. So, first off, I got to compliment Star Trek Discovery. I know, must be, you know, the devil must need a snowblower right now, because they did something that I thought was a nice thing to do. And they did some representation in a good way, in a correct way, in the only way I think they could possibly do it. And I think they did it accidentally. You know how we have the reoccurring character of Timmy? Who we have lovingly named because they didn't bother to. You know, the character who wheels himself throughout the hallway indefinitely, even though there's no real way on or off the ship except for maybe a direct site-to-site transporter. Yeah, Timmy. Well, he doesn't have a name, but... this character that they brought in for this episode was played by Kenneth Mitchell, who has been a cast member on Discovery before. He played one of the Klingons. It was Cole from the House of Kor, I believe was his name. He was the Klingon who growled like a lion, and I remember specifically when I reviewed the first season of Discovery, or about half of it, that I could not see the actor's eyes from the makeup, from that thick, heavy prosthetic makeup, that their makeup was so terrible on these Klingorks. You couldn't see this actor's eye. How is he seeing out of this makeup? Well, they brought the actor back, and now this is why I have to talk about representation. This actor, Kenneth Mitchell, was sadly diagnosed with ALS, and I don't remember exactly when he was diagnosed, but we heard about this last year, last year, it's almost midnight here, early 2020. We had word of this, and I thought it was a very nice touch to bring this actor back. Here's the kicker. Here's where I have to compliment them. Not only did they bring back an actor that was already in their family, this is a very Star Trek tradition. How many characters did Jeffrey Combs play? How many characters did Vaughn Armstrong play? You know, this is a tradition with Star Trek. You bring back the same people. They brought him back, and they put his character in a wheelchair, because I believe that the actor is having some difficulties now, which is really, really sad and horrible, and I feel terrible, but I do have to compliment them at least, because his character made sense, and it wasn't just for representation and diversity, but it accidentally did it. They accidentally did that. They accidentally represented a community of people by giving this character a reason to be, by giving this character meaning and an excuse to be in the show in the condition that he's in. And you guys did a good one. You guys got that right, at least. So the character he plays was, I believe he was rescued. He was a genetic quote-unquote defect in this, the character that Kenneth Mitchell plays. I can't remember the character's name off the top of my head. He was a defect, and the Orion lady decided to bring him in and save his life and give him purpose and meaning, right? All right. That's pretty intriguing. That's pretty interesting. So he's working for the bad guy, not really noticing it. And I think he's probably going to be back in the next episode as well, because this episode, like I said, is just going to lead into the next one. Now, this episode is post finding out what happened with the burn, which was just some Kelpian guy who was on a planet with dilithium, and he was genetically, superhero, whatever. He got mad and the burn. All right, so that's when all the dilithium goes boom in the galaxy. Really dumb, I know. Last episode, Tilly ended up being in charge because you let the ensign, who's barely in Starfleet, I don't even believe she was, in charge of the ship while everybody else goes down on an away mission to this planet. And of course, it takes her about 12 minutes to lose the ship to the Orion chick. So that's what happened there. Now, this episode has them going back to the Federation headquarters, to the Admiral guy who was in the Mummy. I can't remember his name. He was the Magi in the Mummy. Admiral Odette Fair, I believe I can't. This is me. Don't be me and forget everything that happens all the time. This episode was so uninteresting for like 99% of it that all I really have to say is, hey, you did some representation correctly in this one. Everything else about this episode was slow, boring, nonsensical. I just don't care about these characters. I don't care about the characters or how they interact. I don't care if they live or die. I don't care if they get out of this in time or alive. So all the crew, all of our bridge crew are captured because the Orions stole the ship, and they're like I said, they're bringing it back to Federation headquarters to negotiate. So pretty much everybody is just sitting around with their thumbs up their butts for the most part of this episode until one of them realizes, hey, we're going to send some Morse code. We're going to send some Morse code to distract these guards while we sit around and wait for Michael Burnham to show up and rescue us. I don't know if they knew she was supposed to be rescuing them. Oh, Michael Burnham actually got injured this episode. She got stabbed in the leg for about a split second, and she limped on it for most of the rest of the episode until I guess she forgot. Maybe I just stopped paying attention. I don't know about her limp, because I kind of don't care. I really don't care if Michael Burnham gets hurt or any of these other jack-offs, yahoos, whatever you want to call them, on Discovery. So Michael Burnham even has this really long, touching, dramatic scene where she Stamets calls her out. This is the scene. This is the only scene I kind of remember from this. Stamets calls her out because Michael Burnham wants to leave and abandon all the people on the planet. So the people on the planet are Hugh, Adira now transported down. We don't see the planet at all. So this must have been one of the ones that they shot. They must have shot them weird because of, the cough restrictions, because of all that stuff. So we don't see any of the people that are on the planet, which is Saru, Dr. Culber, Adira, the they-them character. We don't see those people. And, of course, everybody who was on the planet before, which were the Hollow teachers and Saru's great-grandson? I don't know what he's called. That other Kelpian, the other surviving Kelpian, who's basically about as smart as a 5-year-old. We don't see them at all in this episode, and the whole episode is basically Michael Burnham coming in to save the day, sort of, ish. I don't think anything even concluded in this episode, because it continues into the next one, and they're going to drag this out over one more episode, which nobody was looking forward to. So Michael Burnham has this long, intense scene with Stamets, where he doesn't want to leave everybody on the planet. He's like, no, I lost you once before. I'm not losing him again. Just overacting completely. Normally I like Stamets. Normally I like the character and the way Anthony Rapp portrays him. For the most part, like, he's one of the few and I like Tilly a little bit. I think the show's garbage and everything that comes out of everybody's mouths are kind of garbage. But, I always get the general sense that people like Mary Weissman, who plays Tilly, can at least act. Same thing with Anthony Rapp, that they're, like, at least entertainers, and they're at least, interesting to look at and experience on camera, I suppose, as far as, and, I like seeing the bridge crew. We've got Not Sulu and Mrs. T and Lisa Left Eye. I like seeing them. They don't really get to do a whole lot, but, I like it when they have one line. They have no characters, and they really have no, like, they were hired to be background people. And Star Trek fans actually complained and said, no, you need some main characters here. You can't just have 3 people on your ship, right? And one of them does everything. So that's a little tangent there. Stamets actually calls out Michael Burnham, and he's like, I'm not leaving Hugh behind. Oh, but she still insists, and she wraps him in a force field and shoots him to Federation headquarters against his will. Because last episode he was captured and forced to navigate or something, or held captive before he could jump away. That was actually how they got on the ship. That's all that happens in this episode, is that they end up going back to Federation headquarters. Oh, the Orion tries to negotiate and make a new Federation with Admiral Magi from The Mummy. And Orion chick, now my problem with the Orion chick is still the same. The actress cannot move her mouth because the makeup is atrocious. They changed the Orions and made them ugly for no reason other than to pile on more makeup and make it 25% different. This poor woman, she's talking like this the whole time. She cannot move her mouth. They've got so much makeup on her face. I feel terrible for this poor actress. Otherwise, she reminds me of a Stargate sort of. She reminds me of somebody who would be in Stargate Atlantis. She kind of reminds me of like Jill Wagner's character in Stargate Atlantis. A little bit, only not quite as cool and hot and sexy and interesting. Yeah, that's kind of I'll try and get a picture of her. Basically, same stuff. You know, an alien shit comes in and tries to slink her way onto the ship and steal it. That sort of stuff. That's what this is. That's what she is. Only there's nobody really for her to flirt with, so she doesn't work that way. She really should be more flirty. You know, they want some diversity and representation. Have her flirt the crap with Tilly. Why not? Why not? What? That's what her character is there for, to be this sultry, sexy, slinky. Oh no, they didn't make the Orion sexy anymore. That's right. Discovery, do better. This was not a very good episode. Still, it was just boring. It was uninteresting again, and there's really not much else to say other than they did some representation correctly, and it's almost over. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. I give this episode about a you know, I'm generous. We'll give it a 4 out of 10 because, you know, it's nice what they're doing with Kenneth Mitchell, and I feel like they owe it to him at least to give him some acting jobs, even though the characters and the writing that he kind of plays aren't that great, but that's not his fault, right? I am MeccaRandom42, and I'll see you guys later. Bye. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button, and if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye! Fucking human.